Welcome to another Mage Knight campaign battle report. It is the Knights Immortal versus the Shyft and their Mage Spawn allies. It's a 6,000 point one-page rule Age of Fantasy game. Before the battle, Paladin Prince Thirion and Elabeth, having defended Kel'Athon against the Atlantis Guild attack, began preparing the border defenses against other incursions. Such a rich supply of mage stone crystals would not be given up so easily. Soon, other factions would hear of such a vital resource. The Black Dragon Knight leader requested additional reinforcements from the Rivvenhelm mountain fortresses to the east. A detachment of elite cavalry arrived within weeks, and nothing else. Thirion was shocked at how few came to his aid. The mounted champion came less as reinforcements and more as a messenger with grave tidings. Mage Spawn were amassing, in numbers unheard of. No longer petty and scattered raiders, they marched en masse, in ordered ranks. Several smaller towns and passes had been overwritten, their ferrel, snarls, and howls replaced with a steely and stoic cadence. Every abomination imaginable, though diverse, stood side by side with a singular purpose, not simply to ravage, but conquer. The Black Dragon Knights would have to defend on multiple fronts. Although the border defenses were relatively strong, the inner lands had little need for such bulwarks. A city defense would be unwieldy and costly in civilian lives. The Knights Immortal would fight on the battlefield. Conscriptions were levied. Every able-bodied elf was quickly trained and formed into makeshift regiments. Militia and constabularies formed the backbone of the elven ranks. Squires, scouts, and frontier sentinels surveilled the provinces. It did not take long to find this new threat. In the distance to the north, billows plumed. Ash and dust seeped into the sky. An army marched towards them. Mustering all their forces, including most of who defended the borders, Thirion and Elabeth led their cobbled-together army to meet this terrible foe. On the misty fields of the Huron plain, the forces arrayed themselves. The leaders of both armies met in the center. A grizzled lich stands atop a ruined pedestal, his eyes aglow with dark energies. "Have you come to surrender your souls to me, noble elves?" he mused. "Why have you gathered such an army as this? Why trouble our land?" Thirion asked. "Is it not their land as well?" hissed the lich, pointing to his minions as he waved his hand across the ranks of skeletons, minotaurs, krugs, and countless other creatures. "For too long you have driven them to the darkest corners of this land, but no longer will they hide in forests and marshes, tombs and dungeons. No longer will they flee from your blades into the pitch-black nights. We have come to reclaim our land and to claim your souls." Savage roars, screeches, and cackles echoed across the sky as he raised his fist in defiance. "No, lich, it is not their land. Bid your minions to disperse and return to the darkness where they came, and they will be spared. We will not. It is our time to rule, and your time to flee. Then prepare yourselves for battle." Thirion turned to walk towards his battle lines. The lich raised both hands as he faced his spawn hordes. "We feast on elf flesh tonight." This is a 6,000 point Age of Fantasy one-page rules battle report. There's 3 objectives across the center of the board. Each objective represents a piece of the territory: the ruins, the forests, and the mountains. Holding the majority of the objectives at the end of 4 turns wins the game. We'll be playing with the rules regarding command points. You can see those command points as we played in the past. For the army list, you can read up if you want to stop at it, going through it quickly. These are both custom armies meant to translate the the Mage Knight characters into their equivalents for one-page rules. You'll notice Temple Blade Masters, Liege Knights, Elf at Arms, okay, Shield Wall Knights, and the Noble Archers. The Paladin Prince has the Battlefield Healing, giving regeneration. Elven Pikemen, Fanatics. The Faith Healers also have the Battlefield Healing to supplement their healing abilities. Deepwood Sentinels. Squires have Scout. The Longbow Archers. The Mounted Champion, in replace of his command, has Advanced Tactics. The High Elf General also, to replace command, has Advanced Tactics. Some Heavy Cavaliers as well. We have another unit of Heavy Cavaliers. Elabeth will be running as a Paladin Priest, who's a level 3 caster, also with Battlefield Healing. Some Elven Zealots. We've got Rivvenguard, that we've added Magic Retaliation, which is basically the same thing as Corrosive. Some Gyre Falcons, Elven Falconeers, Quarterstaff Warriors, some Tribos, finally some Elven Recruits. For the Mage Spawn and the Shyft allies, they are a collection of a lot of heavy hitters along with several others. The Werebears, Heavy Krug Calvary are both tough, a lot of tough units. Werewolves, 2 units of Satyrs. We've got 2 6-man unit of Minotaur Warriors. We've got a Minotaur Mage that have the Mage Council special ability so they can cast. Kai Devils have their Shockwave, which is a 9-inch reliable shot. Demolishing Apes, Deep Spawn, Skeleton Warriors, Spectres that both have 2 breath attacks, so they will be able to double breath attack each turn. We've got a Lich as a level 3 caster who's also got regen. His Magic Blast or 1 shot that has an indirect ability. We've got Mind Thieves that are using the Magic Confusion ability. That is the same thing as the Enthrall ability, so that they'll be able to target and a unit that has that they target. If they fail a morale check, they get to move 6 inches. Some Shyft Serpent Riders, a Shyft Fiend that also, using the command, has the At the Double ability, so he can also move 6 inches. Crypt Worms, and a Wraith who is more of a straight combat hero with the Reap abilities. Some Krug Brutes, Were Ravens, who also have the Magic Confusion ability. They're coming in as ambush. Null Fletchers, Skeleton Archers, Gargoyles, Slag Trolls that also count as Ettins. We've got Chimeric Worms, Manticores, Heartseekers, which also have Magic Retaliation, Trogs, and finally a 20-man unit of Lizardmen. For the setup, the armies are set up on both sides. As you can see, there's 3 objectives, all in the center. The one towards the skulls represents the ruins area. On the center of the pedestal in the forest represents the forest, and finally, to the very top of the screen is the final objectives, which represents the mountainous regions. As you see here, setting up, Elabeth has set up here. She's got both Gyre Falcon units to her left and right. She'll be primarily being a defensive caster. Towards here, you've got a lot of the polearm. You've got the Elven, the Royal Pikemen. You've got the Elites. You also, on that ruined area, is representing a hill, so a lot of the shooting attacks will be getting on the hill to shoot above their allies. That's just the center here. You can see the Liege Knights also have the Protective Aura ability, so they'll be using that as well, giving +1 defense to 2 units as well, representing their defense ability. Towards the right, you've got the Cavalry units, both Cavalry units set up here along with the Mounted Champion. You can see the Longbow Archers behind them. There's the Rivvenguard, and you've got a lot of the Sentinels and the Royal Pikemen using their counter to sort of be the first line of defense. For the Mage Spawn towards the right, you see the Chimeric Worms along with one of the 6-man Minotaur squads. Towards here, you've got the other 6-man unit of Minotaurs towards more the center behind the Lizardmen, along with the 3-man unit of Minotaur Mages. You've got the Werebears along with the Manticores in the forest. You've got the Apes and the Kai Devils. Towards the further end, you've got the Heavy Krug Cavalry along with the Serpent Cavalry towards the far left and the Slag Trolls and Ettins. The Satyrs are both towards the far left, representing their fast and be using more as chaff. Let's show some more pictures of the battlefield. On here, there's the Shyft Fiend, who will be using his At the Double ability to sort of readjust people. That's the Lich on the mountain. You can see here that both Squire units have been set up further on the ruins to sort of be that first line of defense. Towards the center, a lot of the elf shooting is towards the center of the battle, other than the longbow archers. As you can see, the battle lines set up with the elves sort of arrayed with a lot of their shooting and a lot of their flyers in the center, where the Mage Spawn have generally set up towards the left and right flanks. You can see here are the Heart Seekers along with the Mind Thieves. That's just the center of the battle line. Just continuing to look at the battle line. In reserve, we have Were-Ravens and we have a unit of Gargoyles. Turn 1. The Mage Spawn get to go first. They move up their skeletons, followed by a Shield Wall Knights who rush up towards the center objective. The Skeleton Archers in return shoot at the Shield Wall Knights, but don't do any damage. The Noble Archers move up and they shoot, killing 4 of the skeletons who were in cover. The Kai Devils move up and shoot at the Shield Wall Knights, killing 1 of them with their shockwaves. The Paladin Prince, along with his Temple Blade Masters, move up and give the regeneration from his battlefield healing to the Shield Wall Knights. The Lizard Men rush up as well, having their Strider. The other unit of archers also shoot at the Lizard Men, killing several of them, weeding them down. The Minotaurs move up behind the Lizardmen, using them as a screen. That's another representation of both the archers, including the Tribows, also shoot into the Lizardmen, killing more of them. The Deep Spawn move up close to the Squires. The Leash Knights move up, giving +1 defense to the Temple Blade Masters and the Shield Wall Knights. Skeletons also begin moving up towards the center. The Shield Wall Knights advance up and closer to the skeletons. The Werebearers move up behind the skeletons, being protected by them. The other Temple Blade Masters move up. The Knoll Fletchers move up and shoot, but they are not accurate and do no damage. The Elven Falconers move up and they shoot at the skeletons, and they are able to completely wipe them out. The Minotaur Mages move up and cast regen on Minotaurs, and also on the Werebearers. Deepwood Sentinels rush up to gain the objective on the mountains. The Shyft Fiend moves up here. He also advances. He uses his double time to move up the Werebearers in charge range. The Werewolves in charge range. The Squires, seeing them go ahead and move to block the Werewolves who've been moved up. The Werewolves then charge the Squires, killing them in enough and causing them to fail their morale and breaking them. The Werewolves then move up to claim the center objective. The Royal Pikemen move up in defense of the Deep Spawn. The Chimeric Murrens move up and they have their breath attack that they shoot and kill some pikemen. The Riven Guard move up behind the Deepwood Sentinels. The Satyrs move up to be an initial defense. The Squires then move up around to protect the archers. The Cryptworms move up behind the Werewolves. The Elven Recruits move up to protect against the Werewolves charging the archers. The Spectres move up and use their breath attack on the Squires. They double blast the Squires, taking them down below 50% and wavering them. The Quarterstaff Warriors move up behind. The Falcons, the Gyre Falcons, also having Strider through their flying, move up behind the Archers. That's also the Elven Zealots moving up. The Mind Thieves move up and magic confusion the Sentinels, who fail their morale. Therefore, they get to move the Sentinels closer towards their lines. The other Riven Guard unit move up. The other Minotaurs move towards the right. here the Temple Blade Master unit moves up. Using the advanced tactics from him, we move up the Falcons. So that is the High Elf General who has advanced tactics. He moves up the Falcons. The Krugs move up behind the Satyrs. The Falcons, being moved up by the High Elf General, then charge the Lizardmen, killing them, and then advancing up in front of the Minotaurs. The Manticores move up behind the Minotaurs. The other Leash Knight unit moves up and gives +1 defense to both of the Falcons. That's that one, as well as here, that's +1 defense from the Leash Knights from their protective aura. The Apes move up, having their Strider, they move up in the forest. The Immortal Fanatics move up behind. The Trogs move up behind the Noel Fletchers and the Skeletons. That's just the Immortal Fanatics being moved up as well. The Calvary move towards the center, seeing the right flank possibly go in the mountains, choose to reposition towards the center. The Krug Heavy Cavalry move up behind the Werebears. The Longbow Archers get on the hill and they shoot at the Satyrs, killing a few of them. The Ettins and Slag Trolls move up behind the Mine Thieves. The Royal Pikemen move up along with the Sentinels to block the Satyrs. The Satyrs, instead choosing to reposition towards the center, having fast, move up behind the Trogs. The unit of Elf at Arms move up behind the Deepwood Sentinels. The Wraith moves up as well, right behind the Ettins and Slag Trolls. Finally, the Shyft certain cavalry move up behind the Krugs. The Faith Healers move up and give regen to the Shield Wall Knights in front of them. So those guys have regen as well from battlefield healing. The Lich moves up and blasts both the recruits and the pikemen, hitting them, killing 3 of each. So he also uses his indirect magic blast to kill 1 of the Tribos, as he can shoot through units. Elabeth moves up and casts +2 AP on the charge to both Blade Master units. That is that yellow icon. Both of the Blade Masters have +2 AP on the charge. The other Men-at-Arms move up behind the Elven Zealots. The Faith Healers also move up and give regen to the Quarterstaff Warriors with their battlefield healing. That's the regen. These Shield Wall Knights then move up closer. The Cavalry also advance up behind the 2 units of Royal Pikemen and Deepwood Sentinels. At the end of the battlefield, you see both of the armies begin to move together. The Elves have caused some initial damage from shooting and from combat, but also it means that a lot of the heavy infantry units and the brutal units of the Minotaurs are being in charge range next turn. As we look over here, we see both units move forward. That waver was on the Lizardmen that was killed by the Gyre Falcons. Just note as well that those squires are also wavered. As you can see here, the positioning of some of the cavalry begins to move towards the center. As we see here, we see both armies closing into each other. The Elves have gained some of the initial grabbing of the right objective, but a lot of the heavy units are also at the Mage Spawn right there. Towards the center. And finally, towards the right, we see, again, both armies coming towards each other. You can see here towards the center, the Elves have gained perhaps the initial objective in the center, But the Mage Spawn also have pushed towards the objective in the runes. On turn 2, the Mage Spawn do get to go first. The Minotaurs go into the Gyrfalcon unit, charging them, taking them down, killing 4 of the Gyrfalcons, and they failed their morale. The Gyrfalcons do a few wounds in return, but the Minotaurs destroy the Gyrfalcons, and then consolidate up forward. The Rivvenhelm charge the skeleton warriors, killing several of them, but they pass their morale, and then both back off. They take 1 or 2 wounds in return. The werewolves then charge the elven recruits, killing all of them, and then consolidating onto the objective. The Tribros move up and they shoot at the cryptworms. They kill one and do 2 wounds on the other. The cryptworms then charge the Rivvenhelm. They kill 9 of the Rivvenhelm. They also lose 1 to magic retaliation. The Rivvenhelm also fail their morale and then flee, and the cryptworms then move up towards the center. The Falconeers move up and they shoot at the werebears. Even with cover, they take out 1 of the werebears, but they also remove the regeneration from them. The werebears then charge the Shield Wall Knights, killing 9 of them as well, but the Shield Wall Knight does pass his morale, with only 1 left. The Falconers move up on the hill, and they shoot the Deep Spawn. That's right there. They shoot the Deep Spawn, killing 4 of the Deep Spawn. The Spectres, having their double breath attack, move up, and they breath attack the Pikemen, killing 3 of them and wavering them. The Elven Zealots charge the Deep Spawn, wiping out the remaining 6, and then consolidating back. The Kai Devils move up to shoot the shield walls, killing 1 and removing the regen and +1 defense to them. The Shield Wall Knights charge and they kill 1 of the Minotaurs. But even with fatigued, the Minotaurs roll and they do incredible amounts of fighting, even fatigued, and kill 7 of the Shield Wall Knights. Shield Wall Knights do pass their morale. The Chimeric Worms charge the Elven Zealots. They breath attack on the Pikes, taking the single Pike down to 1. They then take the Zealots. They kill 7 of the Zealots that also really heavily damage them as well. The Temple Blade Masters then charge the Werebears. They kill 4 of them, and they lose 1 in return. The Werebear does pass his morale. The Skeletons move up and they shoot at the Shield Wall Knights, but they miss. The Leash Knights move up and give +1 defense. So they give +1 defense to the other Leash Knights as well as the other Blade Masters. Right there, that's the other +1 defense coming back on them as it was taken off. The Apes charge the Temple Blade Masters. They kill 1. They remove the +1 defense, but they lose 2 in return, and they waver. Remember, the Temple Blade Masters are fatigued at this point. So they back off, and they're also wavered, but they do remove the +1 defense onto the Temple Blade Masters. The Quarterstaff Warriors charge the Werewolves. They kill 7 of them, but lose 2 in return. Their werewolves do pass their morale. The No Altars move up and shoot at the Pikemen, killing 3 of them. The Sentinels charge the Blowpipes. They kill a few of them, and they waver the Heartseekers. The Satyrs, choosing to fatigue the cavalry charge, the heavy cavalry, they lose several of them, and they kill 1 of the cavalry, but they also fatigue them as well. But they also fail in the morale, and they flee. There is a consolidation move from the heavy cav from the mounted champion. The Royal Pikemen, seeing that they are fatigued, moves up to protect the heavy cavalry. The Minotaurs, they move up towards the center, getting ready to charge. The Longbow Archers stay on the hill, and they shoot at the Krugs, killing 1 of them. The Krugs then charge the Royal Pikemen, killing 4 of them and losing 2 in return. The Royal Pikemen do hold, are down to only 3. The demolishing apes, the skeletons move up behind the demolishing apes. The faith healers move up and add regen to the Riven Guard in yellow. The Trogs charge the Riven Guard, killing 4 of them, losing 1 in return. But both hold. The Riven Guard do pass them around. The Elf at Arms charge the remaining Krugs who are fatigued, killing them all but 1. And the Krugs do flee, and the Elf at Arms then move up behind, also to protect the heavy cav who've been fatigued. The Serpent Cavalry then charge the fatigued Elf at Arms, killing all of them, and then backing off. The advanced tactics the High Elf General moves up in advanced tactics. The wavered squires up in the river. He moves them up 6 inches to clear a path, also to protect. And then those Temple Blade Masters, along with the High Elf General, charge the Crypt Worms and killing all 4 of them. They then consolidate back. The Lich moves up and shoots indirect to kill one of the Tribos. He then uses his magic blast as well to blast the remaining Zealots. He also blasts, he does the level 3, so he does 6 damage on both, so he blasts both the Zealots and the Squires. There's only 1 Squire left. The Archers move up and they shoot at the Spectres. The Spectres do have stealth, but they still lose 5 of them. The Spectres do pass them around. The Lone Werebear, who is fatigued, chooses to charge the Blade Masters just to fatigue them. He removes their +1 defense. He doesn't kill any of them, but he also fatigues them so they can't charge. That's just the consolidation from the Blade Masters, who still have the +2 AP on the charge. The Faith Healers move up and give regen to the Leeds Knights in the forest. That's just the regen on the Liege Knights. The Mind Thieves use Magic Confusion on the Sentinels again, who also fail their morale, and they actually move the Sentinels in range of the Slag Trolls and Ettins. They also then shoot and kill one of the Deepwood Sentinels. Elabeth moves up and casts +2 AP on the Falcons and the Elf at Arms to her right. So that's the +2 AP on the Elf at Arms and the Falcons. The Ettins then, being in range to charge the Deepwood Sentinels from the Magic Confusion, charge the Sentinels and kill the remaining of them. They then consolidate back. With the +2 AP, the Elf at Arms charge the Chimeric Worms, killing 3 of them, but also losing several in return. Both of them stick. The Wraith charges their remaining Royal Pikemen and kill their remaining Pikemen. The Wraith then consolidates back behind the protection of the Serpent Riders. The Shyft Fiend moves towards the right in advanced tactics. He moves the Minotaurs closer in range. So that's the Minotaurs that have been moved up from the Shyft Fiend. The one single remaining Royal Pikeman unwavers. The Satyrs then, seeing that possibly they could get charged from the Wraith, actually use their speed to move up and protect the Wraith and the Slag Trolls. The single Squire also then unwavers. The Minotaurs, who've been moved up by advanced tactics, charge the... so these are the Elf at Arms who already attacked, charges them, and kills their remaining Elf at Arms. They then consolidate behind the Spectres. The Temple Blade Masters, who are already fatigued, move towards the flank and gives regen to the Quarterstaff Warrior. Seeing that the flank towards the ruins is being overrun, chooses to move towards the objective in the ruins. That's the regen on the Quarterstaff Warriors from the Paladin. The Heartseekers unwaver. The Heavy Cav, seeing that the right flank in the mountains is possibly being overridden, the High Elf General, the Mounted Champion, chooses to move his cavalry towards the center. He then advanced tactics up to the Liege Knight to protect the archers. That's him using his advanced tactics. The Manticores charge the remaining shield wall knights, killing the remaining of them. They then consolidate back into the water. The elf fanatics move up towards the center. The Minotaur mages move up and cast regen. They cast it back on the Minotaurs that are right in front of them. They also cast regen on the Manticores. They then push towards the right. The Leash Knights move up and add +1 defense to the Blade Masters. That's both of the Blade Master units. The Leash Knights give them +1 defense. The Krug Heavy Cavalry move up behind the Minotaurs in the center. The Gyre Falcons then charge the Fatigued Apes, killing the remaining of them. And they then move up in front to protect the Temple Blade Masters. The Cavalry also charge the Trogs in the center, killing several of them. And then the Trogs also then fail their morale and they flee. The Cavalry then back up. Towards the end of the second turn, we see that both of the armies have taken heavy casualties. The ruins have, a lot of the elves have lost a lot of their men on the ruins. Here we see there's a heavy push along with some heavy Minotaurs and Chimeric Worms who will be pushing towards that objective. Towards the center, we see the elves making a good push, so they are trying to gain the center objective. Towards the right flank, we see that the Mage Spawn and Shyft have basically gained control of the mountain objective, with the elves basically shifting their cavalry towards the center, almost giving up this objective. At the same time, we see that the elves have made a foothold into the center objective. Here we see that while the while we do see the Mage Spawn and Shyft have gained the mountain objective, the elves have also cut through the center of the lines, effectively separating the Mage Spawn out, sort of cornering them into that far corner in the mountains. Here we see the Mage Spawn and Heavy Cavalry along with the Manticores and Minotaurs, all ready to contest and possibly do damage in the center. Towards the right, we see a heavy push from a lot of the elite infantry of the Mage Spawn. This is just the right flank, and the mountains basically crumbling for the elves, and the elves taking both cavalry units and repositioning, along with hitting. You can see the center of the Mage Spawn line has sort of crumbled, and they sort of separated into two armies. Turn 3. The Mage Spawn choose to bring in their reinforcements from ambush. Seeing that they need to take the ruin objective, they choose to bring both the gargoyles and the were-ravens down to go after the archers and also contest and even grab that objective in the ruins. You can see here just some more pictures as well, and you can see where the archers are basically left in many ways undefended by the two were-ravens and gargoyles. First thing it does is the Manticores charge the Gyre Falcons, killing several of them and taking a few wounds in return. Both pass their morale. The Paladins, who have +1 AP, they charge. The Paladin, having battlefield healing, gives regen to the Leash Knights. They then charge the Minotaurs, so that's the regen on the Leash Knights coming from the Paladin Prince. They then charge and kill the remaining 4-man Minotaur units. They then back off. The Were-Ravens move up and charge the Falconers. They use the Magic Confusion that also the Quarterstaffs fail, through which they move away from the objective. They then charge and kill the remaining Elven Falconers to remove the shooting support. They then consolidate also closer to the objective. The Leash Knights charge the Spectres before they can Magic Blast. They give +1 defense to the Quarterstaff Warriors, killing 3 of the Spectres, but the Spectres do hold. The Spectres, seeing that there's only 2 left, still have both of their breath attacks. They move back. They breath attack the Quarterstaff Warriors to remove the +1 defense and regen. And they also breath attack the Leash Knights to remove regen from them. Both have lost their regen. +1, the Leash Knights move up and give +1 defense to the Fanatics and the Blade Masters. They then charge the Kai Devils, killing killing 2 of them, but both pass their morale. They then back off. The Gargoyles charge the remaining Tribos, killing the remaining 2, and then also backing towards the objective. The Quarterstaff Warriors charge the remaining 2 Spectres, killing both of them, and then also backing to protect the objective. The Lich moves up, uses his he does his level 3 blast on the Quarterstaff Warriors, so he uses one of the objectives from the Minotaur Mages to blast the Quarterstaff Warriors and the Temple Blade Masters, killing one of them, but also removing their +1 defense and killing several of the Quarterstaff Warriors. The archers move up to shoot the gargoyles in cover, killing 3 of them, but they aren't enough to lose their morale. The chimeric worms move up and breath attack, and they kill the remaining Quarterstaff Warriors. They then move up to protect the objective. The Faith Healers move up and give regen to the Leash Knights that had just lost it. The Kai Devils move up and they shoot the Fanatics, killing 2 of them. The Gyre Falcons charge, killing. They are fatigued, but they still are able to kill several of the skeleton archers. Excuse me. The Werewolves charge, killing 2 of the Blade Masters who are fatigued, and then they move back. The Blade Masters choose to not fight back as they have the +2 AP, so they just lose 2 of their members and choose to pass them around. The Heavy Cavalry, along with the Mounted Champion, move up. They advance tactics up the Immortal Fanatics. The Skeleton Warriors then move up to protect the Manticores. The Temple Blade Masters, who were charged and didn't choose to fight back, charge the Were-Ravens, killing all of them. They also advance tactics up, so both have used their advanced tactics to move those Immortal Fanatics into position. They kill the Were-Ravens. They then consolidate also towards that objective in the ruins. The Blade Masters were shot. They were shot at by the archers, and they lose 1. They also lose the +1 defense. The Longbow Archers shoot, killing 2 of the Skeleton Warriors. The Skeleton Warriors do pass their morale. They fail their morale, and 1 more crumbles. There's still 2 left that are protecting the Manticores. The Heartseekers move up to grab the objective, and they shoot the Riven Guard. They only kill 1 of them, but that is enough to waver the Riven Guard. They do lose 1 from magic retaliation, as they have it from the Riven Guard. The Faith Healers rush away towards the center as they see that the mountain objective is lost, and they give regeneration on the cavalry. The Shyft Fiend moves up and shoots, but fails to do damage. He then moves the Manticores back into the forest so that they are a little better protected. The Mind Thieves move up and shoot at the Blade Masters. They try to magic confusion them, but they do not magic confusion them, nor do they do any damage on them. The Skeleton Archers also move and shoot, but they also miss. The Satyrs also charge the Riven Guard. As they're already wavered, they attack and rout them. The Riven Guard actually die, so 2 die from magic retaliation, but the Riven Guard already being wavered are automatically routed. The Cavalry charge the center, trying to protect the center objective, and they kill the Kai Devils. They then move towards the center. The Minotaur mages having 2 left. So you have +1 AP to the Krug Heavy Cavalry. They then charge the Temple Blade Masters, killing 2. As they're fatigued, they take no wounds in return, but the Temple Blade Masters pass them around. The Gyre Falconers, the Elven Falconers move up and they shoot at the Chimeras. At the Manticores, killing 2 of them. The Minotaurs charge the Leech Knights. Even with the regen, they're able to kill all of them to a man. There's 1 left. But that 1 actually flees. So fares them around minimize. The Shield Wall Knight, the 1 remaining Shield Wall Knight, charges the 2 remaining skeletons. He kills 1 of them, and he survives. That forces the 1 remaining skeleton to fail a morale. It then crumbles, and the skeletons are cleared out by the single remaining Leech Knight. The Leech Knight then uses his consolidation to move on top of the center objective. The Krug Heavy Cavalry charge the Falcons, and are able to kill the remaining one with the +1 AP. They then consolidate up. Elabeth moves up and casts her +1 AP again. She casts it on the Temple Blade Masters. She also casts it on the Immortal Fanatics. She also has her battlefield healing, which she gives them regen. The Serpent Cavalry charge the remaining longbow archers who chose to stood and fight on that right flank, killing all of them, and then consolidating towards the center. The Immortal Fanatics with the +2 AP charge the Minotaurs, killing 3 of them. The Minotaurs fail their objective and flee, and the Elven Fanatics are able to break through the heavy cavalry, the heavy lines of the Minotaurs. The Slag Trolls and Ettins move up towards the center, seeing that the mountain objective has been captured. The Temple Blade Masters charge the Skeleton Archers, killing the remaining 3 of them, and then moving up. The Wraith also rushes towards the center. The single remaining Royal Pikeman also rushes towards the objective. At the end of the turn, we see that there is still continuing to be heavy casualties, with the Ruin objective continuing to be fought over. We see the center also being fought over, with the Elves giving the slight upper hand on the center objective. Towards the right, we see that the objective in the mountains have been completely overrun, and the Shyft are beginning to consolidate their forces towards the center. Those are just pictures. You can see the center objective the Elves have the upper hand on, but both the left and the right objectives are being claimed by the Shyft, with the right objective in the mountains basically being forfeit. The Lich is still there, causing a lot of damage. We see the Lone Hand. On the final turn, the first thing that the Krug Heavy Cavalry do is charge the Leech Knights, killing many of them, but the Leech Knights are pretty tough, and they're able to survive and pass their morale. The Elven Falconers, needing to protect the center objective from being contested, move up to block the path, and they shoot at the cavalry. Their arrows strike true, and they are able to kill all of them. The Ettins and Slag Trolls charge the Temple Blade Masters, killing all but 1 of them. They take 1 wound in return, but the single remaining Temple Blade Master does pass his morale. The Temple Blade Masters that have the +2 AP charge the Chimeric Worms. They are able to kill those as well and consolidate onto the objective. The Chimeras charge and they attack, killing many of the cavalry. The cavalry choose not to fight back and are able to pass their morale, although they have lost many. The archers move up and they shoot their remaining werewolves, killing 3 of them. The Minotaur mages cast +1 AP on themselves, and then charge the Temple Blade Masters with the Paladin, killing many of them and leaving just the Paladin along with 2 remaining who attack back. Oh, I'm sorry, the Paladin Prince chooses, as he has to try to fight for the center, they actually choose not to attack back. They do pass their morale. The Heavy Cavalry charge the Krug Heavy Cavalry, attacking them, killing one of them, and surviving as they are fatigued. But the Krugs do attack back even with fatigue and are able to kill one. The Krugs are also able to contest the center objective. The Lich moves up and he blasts the Fanatics and the Blade Masters with the Paladin. He kills all the Blade Masters, only the Paladin Prince is remaining. And he is also to completely kill the Elven Fanatics. He also uses his Magic Blast to finish off them. So the Lich continues to cause a lot of massive casualties. The Lich also then moves up close to contest the objective in the ruins. That's just showing the remnants. The Lich's magical powers is doing a lot of damage. And that's just showing the Lich contesting the objective in the ruins. Elabeth, seeing that they have to remove the Lich, moves up and uses a piercing spell, level 3 spell, to cast 3 hits at AP4 on the Lich. The Lich with regen saves one of the wounds and is alive with a single wound remaining. She then charges the Gargoyles and kills one of them. The Gargoyles attack. They are able to do only 2 wounds onto Elabeth, who survives. The Heartseekers move up and they shoot at the Falconers, killing one of them. The single Paladin Prince, who's the only one left, charges the Manticores. He casts regen onto the Cavalry. That's just the battlefield healing. He then attacks. He is able to kill one of the Manticores. That's 3 wounds. He takes 2 in return with a single wound left, but that is enough to waver the Manticores. The Knoll Poachers and Knoll Archers move up and they shoot at the Cavalry. They kill one and remove the regen. They do pass their morale. The single remaining Blade Master charges the Krug Heavy Cavalry, but neither do any wound. The Gargoyles move and choose not to attack. They just simply move within 3 to contest the objective in the ruins. All they have to do is just contest that objective. The Faith Healers choose to protect the Elven Falconers by rushing forward. They give regen to the Falconers and then charge the Satyrs to fatigue them. That's just the regen on the Falconers. They charge just to slow them down. They lose 2, and that causes them to rout, but they are able to fatigue those Satyrs. The Satyrs then consolidate back. The Wraith charges the Elven Falconers. He kills one, but there is also that regen left that allows them to attack. So actually, they lose 2 from the Wraith. I'm sorry, because they're the Reap ability, but they actually do 2 in return, and the Falconers hold. The Cavalry, along with the Mounted Champion, charge the Krug's Heavy Cavalry. They advance tactics up the Liege Knights towards the ruins objective. They then charge and kill 3 of the Krugs. That means the Krugs then lose combat and fail their morale, and the Krugs rout. At that point, the Elves have gained the center objective. With the Manticores being wavered, they have it for now, and it is up to the Mage Spawn to sort of contest the center objective. These are the Mind Thieves, or the archers that move up and try to attack the single remaining. So this is the Shyft Fiend. He advanced tactics up, I believe. He advanced tactics up something, and then he shoots at the Blade Master, but the Blade Master does survive. The lone pikeman, trying to cause a single wound, charges the Lich, but he fails to wound, and the Lich is able to kill him in return. But the Lich is also fatigued. The Mind Thieves move up and they magic confusion the Blade Master, who fails his morale, so they move him away. They then charge the cavalry, hoping to rout them, but the cavalry are able to stick and are able to hold. The Liege Knights, needing to clear off the center objective, charge the Lich and are able to cause a single wound, killing the Lich. The Faith Healers, when they do that, they give the Faith Healers +1 defense. The Satyrs charge, who are fatigued, trying to clear through the Elven Falconers' charge, but they both stick. The Gargoyles are still contesting that center objective. It is on the Faith Healers with the +1 defense to somehow beat the Gargoyles. They charge the Gargoyles, they do 1 wound, and they are able, with the +1 defense, the Gargoyles aren't able to take any wounds in return. That's just showing that one. With that, the Gargoyles do fail their morale and they are wavered. That is barely, as that is the case, that is barely the Elves grabbing the objective in the ruins. Barely capturing the ruins objective. They also barely grab the center objective, along with the Shyft, who have gained the objective in the ruins. At the end of the battlefield, it is both sides have taken heavy casualties, but the Elves, the Knights Immortal Elves, are able to barely win, grabbing 2 objectives to the Shyft's 1 objective. As you can see, the casualty tolls have been great on both sides, with the Elves generally taking more casualties than the Mage Spawn and Shyft. But they are able to waver and grab the center objective, barely holding off. As you can see, the Shyft are advancing, but were stopped by the Elven Falconers and the cavalry. That's just an overview of the final battle. After the battle, the Shyft, seeing that they have lost most of the territory, choose to retreat into the mountainous area. As the Lich has died, the Wraith has chosen to take control of the army, and they lead them towards the mountains that they have captured to take up hold in defensive positions in the mountains. The Knights Immortal Elves have grabbed 2 objectives, which is the forests along with the ruins here. They have won the battle, but the Elves have lost many and are too few to pursue the Mage Spawn into the mountains. The plains and the forests of Kel'Athon were safe for now, but the mountains holds, the mountain areas are going to be in control of the Shyft and the Mage Spawn. At the end of the game, it is a victory to the Knights Immortal. The Knights Immortal receive 6 victory points. The Shyft and Mage Spawn receive 3 victory points, as we are splitting the objectives. Thanks for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles. I'm always interested in feedback. I'd love to know more how to be a better creator. Like, subscribe, and comment so we can grow the channel. And if you're in Austin, you can always play against me. Thanks a lot.